My media is doing super great today. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. I hope you see me. I hope you can hear me and you love me. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're looking good. I hope you're looking as good as you're feeling and feeling as good as you're looking. I have got the most wonderful, amazing special guest today. It is Elias Patras.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I didn't even read your bio.
It's okay. It's okay. Would you like me to read it for you?
Yes.
I,
Do it. Hi, Jean. Well, while Elias loses his shit over here. Hi, Jean.
made me choke on my chai tea.
Hi, Evelyn.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Well, welcome, everybody. My name is Elias Patras, and I am an intuitive motivator, a retreat and workshop facilitator, a best-selling author, thanks to many people. And I am also a psychic medium. I have shared the stage with some great people, some amazing Hay House authors, and I've shared the stage also with Kyra with Celebrate Your Life. And I have a new book out, and I'm in a new compilation book coming out very soon in February called Synchronicity. That's me.
That's you. And who am I? What did you say?
And I also do a podcast, by the way.
Podcast. Yes. Very excited about your podcast.
Yes.
We'll have to share it in the comments and share everything. Share everything. So I'm Kyra Schaefer. I am the CEO of As You Wish Publishing, and we publish amazing people like my beautiful, amazing friend Elias here, and a bunch of amazing, wonderful, fabulous authors all around. Yes, in our collaboration books, and you see two of them there. Yay! And we have plenty of opportunities coming up as well for this year. We got a lot going on. And Guided by Spirit, that was last year. Yay! Ignite Your Fire, that was 23, I think. Oh my God. Look at us. Oh my gosh. The Nature Transformation. Jenna Zavala, the Queen of Queens. I love her. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, from Idaho. Hey, Joy.
Hi, Rhonda from Idaho. Idaho.
Oh, no. Hey, Ellen.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining.
Yes, so we do collaboration books, we do solo books, and now I'm going to be teaching how to publish yourself, self-publishing class called Publishing Made Easy. Also, if you're out there on YouTube, you're seeing me maybe on our YouTube channel, which is new at Publishing Made Easy. So, but here's the thing. Here's what I want to do, because authors. We want to know, why are we writing? Why are we doing this thing? What makes this so powerful and so impactful and so incredible, and how we can use this as not just a tool to, bring wisdom to the world, which we do that also, but how does that also transform us? And Elias and I are going to do a class here very soon, in person in Idaho. Iowa, not Idaho. Where am I going to be?
You're going to be in the Midwest. In the
Iowa. And we're going to be teaching. So this is kind of like a little preamble to some fun stuff we're going to do. So I'm going to ask Elias some questions. We have got the wonderful Chris Kennedy hanging out with us in Iowa. She's coming.
Yes.
I love it. She's coming to our event. Irma. Hi, Irma. Oh my gosh. You have such a beautiful group of friends joining us, Elias. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to just hop right into questions. How do you feel about that?
I love questions. I love
I love
questions. Let me clean my glasses so I can think better. Go ahead.
I know. That's what I had to do earlier today.
Yes.
Chris,
Hi,
nice to
Chris.
see you. Hello, Jody Scott.
Hey,
Yes.
Jody.
All right,
All the
so we're going to hop.
Midwestern people are coming on in.
I know,
Yeah,
it's great.
thank you.
Yeah. All
All right.
right, so you have authored multiple books in the past, and you self-published a book on KDP.
I did.
What was it? 2016?
2018.
2018. Yeah.
Yes, 2018.
Yeah. And the first time I met you was Celebrate Your Life. Yes, Celebrate Your Life, where you were doing one of the keynote speakers there, and you were speaking, and it was magnificent. Everybody loved it. I had people coming out to the bookstore, and they were like, Elias is amazing. You had your sprays. You rocked everybody's world. And so that being said, you're an awesome speaker and connector and helping people to kind of just through education, helping them to really connect with who they are and their purpose and their passion and their joy and understand, their gifts and, that kind of thing. So, having witnessed that firsthand, years ago, it's only gotten better since I've been witnessing you more recently. And we spoke together in Scamania, where you were doing a piece of an event and I was doing a piece of an event. So we've kind of worked side by side, which has been really fun, but not like June. So I'm excited for the joining.
And that's happening in April.
Yes.
Because Joy's like, what month? It's April. It's April.
April, end of April.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now that at least I know what state I'm going to be in, I'll pop that on the screen real quick. Just say right over our faces. Click that QR code right there on your screen and you'll get directed to Elias's page. But this will be available later. So going forward, let's talk about some questions that I sent him preemptively for our time together. And we'll both kind of answer them. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I will keep that up. Let's see. Oh my gosh. We have a
There's a question. How do leaders clean their glasses? Very carefully. Very carefully. Or with water.
Thank you. I'm going to see where my health is. And maybe, yay, joy. Okay, we're sending beautiful, amazing, healing, loving light to you 1000%. Be there, be there, be there. Be there with us.
You have a story to tell, Joy. You have a great story to tell.
Yeah, and what we're doing with this particular event is that we are actually creating a collaboration book together. All of us in the group, we're going to collectively come together and create something really cool. I'll make some final decisions on things, just to keep it clean. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to become a published author. So what you have to say needs to get out there. So I think that's really good. Hello, Ashley. All right, so here we go. I keep saying we're going to do questions, and then I keep stopping myself. So what do you think? What role, Elias, does writing play in helping individuals uncover hidden aspects of themselves? What have you found there?
What I found is that it's really acknowledging where you've been and where you are now. And I think it's important to see that lesson of growth and movement. And I think sometimes once you start, at least for me, and you pushed me, you guys, Kyra gives a gentle nudge, shove.
Shove.
Go.
Get out of here.
It was one of the hardest pieces to write was right before my divorce. And that is in this, wrong book. It is in this book, Your Courageous Heart. And my chapter is all about saying yes to self by moving forward. And I called up Kira. I'm like, I don't have it. I don't have it. I can't make the timeline. Blah blah. She goes, we can extend it a little bit for you. I'm like, no, no. I don't. You understand? I'm going through a divorce, and I don't need. And my ex doesn't even know we're going through the divorce yet. And she's like, sounds like you have a courageous heart. I'm like,
I know. I don't even know where that came. I remember that very distinct moment. And I am not that kind of person generally, but it just came out of my mouth. So it wasn't me.
it was
As
like
much as I'd like to take credit for being that,
it was
awesome.
it was the kick in the Greek tush that I needed, and it was, but it was the way she said it. Like, sounds like you have a creative heart. She wasn't being snotty about it. It was just a matter of fact. And I said, you're right. And to write that piece taught me where I was at, where I wanted to go, and all the lessons that came before all that. And it really helped me so much with my decision and knowing that I was going to be okay. And that was what writing did, because I think what we do is we get so much into the mind. And Kira and I are going to talk about this, especially in the April retreat, about how our soul and heart is, we're not listening to that. And I think what writing does is it takes us to a different place. And I was sharing with this with Kira earlier about in the new book, compilation book, Synchronicity. I don't remember half of what I wrote. I was just typing along, and I'm like, and then I had to reread it, and I'm like, oh,
I'm good.
okay, that was good. Where did that come from? So it's really, I think we all say this, but I think you always say it in every compilation that I've been in. You always say this to all the authors. You say you have to trust the process. And I think that is the big takeaway, is learning your lessons, what they're teaching, how, if you choose to teach them, because you're telling your story and someone's going to get inspired by it, or someone's going to say, I relate to you. I understand you. I understand where you've been. And then, you know, you put it out there, and it's very cathartic as well. So that's my take.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's for me. For me, for the hidden aspects of ourselves, what kind of gets uncovered is that we're using a different part of our brain when we're writing versus imagining versus that kind of thing. And so when we're actually taking and putting it down, the one thing that it's helped me do, whether it's just through journaling or that kind of thing, it's helped me to just get all of this nonsense that is a thought catching a thought catching a thought, and it closes the loop. So even if I'm writing just nonsense garbage that or an emotion or something that just needs to come out of me, it's different when I say it, because if I say the words, sometimes that's a different function. And I'm experiencing it in a different way. And sometimes the loop doesn't actually close. But there's something really powerful about the kinesthetic action of actually writing something down, which I think is why automatic writing is so powerful. And doing something that in the artist's way, she calls it morning pages, where she gets up in the morning and she just hand writes 3 pages of long form, sheets. And then she just tosses them, or she does whatever she wants to with them. But I found a lot of creative things come out of that, and little stories come out of that, which I think are also kind of cool too. So to me, it opens up this idea that we're way more in control of our feelings and emotions than we may have realized previously. So that's one of the things for me. I just want to say hi to Karen. Karen says, yes, it ends up being just what you needed to hear. Yes, yes, yes. Good to see you, Karen. I also want to say hi to all of our friends over on the As You Write group. Kim Padratz, hey, doll baby. Ken Jaworski, hey, hey, hey. Roseanne Gruber Norris, and a few other people are over there. So just want to acknowledge your existence.
Always good. That's always good to do that.
Right. All right. In what way, how do you think that writing could be an act of self-love? How can that do? How can
That
that
is
open that up?
that is such a great question because I remember going back to high school days when I journaled, and they were silly. I mean, it was a looking back, it was like, oh my God, why didn't this person like me? And what's wrong with me? And
Oh, no.
I hate my hair. And why are my lips so big?
BTW. I am loving your hair lately.
Oh,
I'm loving that long crop. It looks good.
thank you. There's one. Hi, squirrel. There's one piece right here that has a lot of white in it. And I'm always like taking the gel. I'm like, all right, let's make sure that this shows.
I know. I like the streaks. I've got my long streak here.
It's fun. Anyway, but doing all that high school journaling, and I needed it. I needed it because I was having feelings. I wasn't sure what the feelings were. And I'm like, I I don't know if I'm gay or not gay. And I was writing all this stuff down, and I'm like, people are not liking me. I don't know what that's all about. I try to be the nice person. And then what ended up, which I didn't know, is the automatic writing of, you are a good person.
Uh-huh.
You are loved. You are doing the best work that you can do. And a lot of like, oh yeah, all these affirmations. But I think when we write and we write down I'll say this, we write our throw up writing. So we just write that all up, then we look at it and we can say, hey, let me take this apart. And as we take all the ideas apart and say, no, give yourself credit for it's like, so people don't walk around like, why is he talking to himself? You're writing it and you're seeing it. And I think there's something about speaking while you're writing. And you're hearing it, at least I am. Let me do this. I am hearing it. I am writing it. And it allows me to go back and go, oh, okay. Well, that part I understand. This part I don't understand. Tell me more about this. Let me write more about this piece here. So I think it's, journaling, diary, whatever you want to say, that comes out, and it's different. It's very different writing than it is typing. It's very different. I had it here, but I was rushing to get here. I had it here, and give me a moment. I'll show you something, but I want to show you how writing shifts with the emotion and shifts with the information that comes in. Please feel free to carry on.
Okay. So he's taking a look in the book. Take a look.
Take a look.
A reading rainbow. Reading rainbow.
So it's really interesting because I have 16-year-old high school girl writing. And when
what does that mean?
You'll see in a second.
Okay, good. Oh my gosh. Your script is gorgeous.
Do you see how it like changes? It starts to lean a little bit, and then we get further into it. And then it gets a little bit more loopier and a little bit more
Yep.
fluid.
That's some channeled stuff right there.
Stuff.
My handwriting changes too.
And then it goes into printing. But I can go back and look at this and say, like, this here is different than this here.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And to stop and look back and go, oh, tomorrow, I need to maybe just write about that. So.
Yeah, I love that. Automatic writing is so cool.
Yeah.
But it is something that just happens naturally. Oh, I love it. What? This
Yeah.
was, wow.
Yeah. From 96 through 1999 and then 2000. My mom died in 2000. So there was a lot of writing in 2000.
Huh? Mm-hmm. And do you ever go back to it and pull out anything from it, or is it things that you just kind of remember and
I do. When I teach an angel writing class, I'll pull it out, but then I might just open it up to. I'm like, what am I going to do in my teaching today? And I open it up. I'm like, wow, forgot about that, or oh, this hasn't shifted.
that's the same as it was
Well, then what
14
was
years
that? Oh,
ago.
right. And there's a lot of ahas, but I think the important piece here for everyone to understand is that the writing can shift if you're honest with yourself. Don't write what you think you want to write. Like, just like when people do card readings. Oh, I can do a card reading and be like, yeah, that one doesn't feel right. Let me pull another card. This is um, for my own writing, for my own reading. I'm like, what? No, that's
Man, that pin, like when I do a pendulum,
I must be
that little bitch is
I must
going.
be reading that wrong. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, well,
Oh,
these are
clearly.
horrible cards. Tarot cards, they're upside down. What am I talking? I mean, what do you mean? Like, for example, what does this mean? Oh,
Oh,
emerging. I've already emerged. No, it's got
I'm
to be something
done.
else. I'm
I did
past
the thing.
emerging. Oh, here it is. Purification. Now that's better, but I don't know about that one. Purification. Oh, faith. That's it. That's the one. Faith. Wait, we're going.
That's weird. Oh
But,
yes, we can lie to ourselves in a million different ways.
but when you're writing, it is. I'm going to say it this way. So just go with me, everyone. You're
Yeah.
speaking the truth. You're speaking your story or your truth, whatever that may be for you, and it will smack you in the face if you are writing like you're like, well, no, and then it just comes up again. It just comes up again. I'm speaking for me personally. It took me this last book, not the synchronicity, but the solo book. It took me 2 years to write that. 2 years. And I mean, I told you when I first had the idea of it, and it it took me time to stop and start and stop and start because I let someone else's voice get into my head. So there you have it.
Right. That's that's
Hi,
key
Lynn.
to be ourselves, right?
Right.
So Lynn had a question. Do you have a favorite website or blog or journaling app that you use to collect your writing so that you can easily share it if you choose? Scrivener can be a good one. It's been weighing on me to do this, so that at least my kids have it. Do you know what? Honestly, you could do Google Docs, and just get your kids. It's free. You can just do Google Docs and just do a journal, and you can have basically put it out as a title headline, or second headline for each one of your days of your journal, and then just give it to them. Share the link to it. Or you could download it to PDF or Word or whatever directly from Google Docs. So you'll have it forever. So, I think that's probably the fastest, easiest way that you're not sharing with the public world.
Right.
But you can also get a free website and, like a free Wix website, and just put a blog up there and, just keep it that way if you want.
And Ashley, if you wanted to, you can also, if you have some of them that are, they're little and they're not typing, have them talk into the microphone and have it do its little thing that it does. So that's another thing.
And I also think, Ashley, seriously, if it's in your mind to do this, please, please, please do it. And check out my publishing course too. It's asyouwishpublishing.com/publishing made easy. But beyond, if that's just too much, if you don't want to just do your own book, which you could absolutely do that for your kids, and you don't have to put it out big if you don't want to. I talk about how to do all of that stuff. But if it's in your heart to do it, please do it. Don't wait. I wish that I had, my grandmother's writing and my, I mean, she had a Bible and she would write in the margins and that kind of thing, but then she kind of stopped. And then, and I'm like, I wish I had all of her isms, like grandma isms. Like, she was just so incredible, just her insights. And she said them often. She would go to the early channelings, the Saint Germain channelings, the I Am discourses, years up in the late 30s. So she had all this really amazing wisdom, and I wish that she'd have shared it with me. So if it's in your heart to do it, please put it on something, and get it to your kids. Please, please, please. Let's see. We have Joy saying, my first experience was with working the steps in AA. We had to write. We did not have to relive it. Enabled me to be separate from what I was writing about. So that detachment, that's huge. That's huge. Writing does help us heal. It really does.
Right.
Lynn saying, my writing changes a few times and trying to release some of that deep stuff. Yeah, when we go into our trauma brain also, our handwriting will change, our voice will change, our mannerisms will change, because the trauma brain is not the same as your, healed brain that is functioning lovely. It is connected to our amygdala, and it's connected to our trauma response. So it's actually normal that if you're writing, sometimes it can change. Now, I think with Elias, he was specifically channeling in many of those instances, which does change the writing as well, because you're accessing another different part of your brain. So I think that's so cool that we can actually see a change in our writing. I think it's so cool.
Very true.
Yeah. Let me just see if there's anything else. We've got Ashley saying, again, my grandmother was a writer. We didn't know until she passed and found her magazine articles. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. Or you can write for our upcoming collaboration, which I have a special Elias link. And then they will have a book with your information in it. So let me go ahead and pop that link up here. This is Elias's link. Where am I going? Hey.
Damn me. Okay.
This is Elias's link, and we are going to be doing it's called The Power of Vision, Inspiring Possibilities, Creating Change is the name of our new upcoming book. And if you use his little QR code that you just saw there, you will get a featured author section in the book for free. That's already set up, and he gets a little bonus. Which is nice. So yes, so that's going to be a really cool one. Let's see if I've got anybody else commenting. Elias, I bet our moms met on the same chariot. I guess hers passed away around the same time. Thank you, Kim, for saying that. All right, let's get back to
April of 2000, Kim. And then my dad was July of 2001.
Oh, that's so hard.
As an only child, it was challenging.
Yeah, and he has a picture of them behind him. Yeah.
Yep. He died the day after my mom's birthday the following year. Crazy.
Oh,
Crazy.
that's so hard.
Yeah.
All right. So what advice would you give authors who struggle with self-doubt or imposter syndrome? Oh, I lost Elias. I lost him. He'll probably be back. All right. I will answer this question for he and I. What advice would you give to authors who struggle with self-doubt or imposter syndrome? All right. So for me, it's doing it anyway. Even if we just, I just do it anyway. And hey,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. But I'm glad my computer hasn't turned off.
That's good.
It usually does.
I was like, whoops, what happened? Was it something I said, Mom and Dad? No.
Heavens. No, that was a nod. That was a nod from y'all's parents. coming in and just saying, okay, well, we just want to get your attention. So yes, imposter syndrome. You have any tips or tools for that?
Well, as the president of the Imposter Syndrome University, come join me for many of my classes. Um, wow. You know, normally what I would have said is all it takes is somebody to believe in you, and that somebody is you, because nobody else can tell you how to do what you need to do. We in this world, we're taught to constantly compare ourselves to other people. We're constantly in competition. And look at all the people that we know, that Kyra knows, that I know. It is all about um, bringing unity in a community. And I always say that on my lives, there's unity in community. There is no way that, when somebody else who does exactly what I do, I'm going to go ahead and support them and say, you know what? It doesn't work for me, that the way that I'm teaching, please go to this other person because I trust them. And maybe you'll get the message that way. Everybody is saying in this world, in the motivational speaking woo-woo world or the motivational world, everyone usually says the same thing, and it comes down to one thing. It comes down to loving self. And how can we stand in that and be an imposter? So unless you do the work on you, unless you do the self-development work on what you feel to heal that heart, I think that's how you're going to break that. My sense is how you're going to break that imposter syndrome.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And I am always been that, right? I mentioned this before you came back, was just I'm all about just nobody telling me what I can do. Like, don't tell me what I can do. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Right.
Don't tell me my truth. And if I'm not willing to say what my truth is, then I can't, I don't know, I can't show up. I'm not there. I'm not present. So I have to me, do whatever I can to face that fear, because I have that too. I have just as much fear as anybody else when it comes to putting out my writing, speaking in public. I am terrified every single time. I am up at 6 a.m. with butterflies in my stomach, wanting to, like before I have to go to, like, even this, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I saying? What's going to happen? How come my media won't work right? And all this kind of stuff. And so even though all of that is there, I try to say, well, what's important here? If I have to shout, how to get to the boats on the Titanic,
Right.
how loudly am I going to shout? And what am I going to say to help give that direction? And if everything that I come into contact with, even though it's scary, even though it's hard, even though it hurts sometimes, I just know that if I can connect with that purposefulness, then it goes beyond me.
Barking on the truth.
Barking on the truth. It goes beyond me, and then I can see through. And when it comes to authorship and people sharing their wisdom and their truth in their music, there is no greater thing that I feel like I can do with my life than offering that space and saying, you don't have to wait for anybody else to tell you what's marketable, what's good, what's valuable, because what you have to say already is, because it's in your heart to do it. And that's kind of how I get through it. But believe me, it scares the living hell out of me every single time. So it's not lost on me for sure.
And everyone sees us, Kyra and I, they see us as, out there and extroverted. We are those extroverted introverts, which
right.
It's like, once this is over, I'm like, I need to just go back in, cocoon for a little bit, and then, I'm like that Jack in the Box. It's like, but then go back in. So that's really bad that I just did that on.
Why?
I don't know. So like a chicken.
It's perfect that you did. As a matter of fact, I think
Yeah.
we have a friend that says, Joy says she likes us.
Oh, good. And
She
you're not
falls
falling
asleep at
asleep.
other.
That's good. I'll just be
Great. I'll take that.
more
That
animal
really,
noises, Joy, to make you.
that really helps my imposter syndrome. Love me. All right. Dana. Hey, Dana. It's good to see you. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Lisa's saying, I don't like the feeling of competition. That's why all of our books are cooperation, not competition.
Right.
I've worked with other publishers and I love them and I send them. Shanna Trope is one of my favorite other publishers. She has been incredible in my life. And, we don't see things like that. It's just not. And Elias and I don't see that with each other or whatever. We all teach very different things from a very different heart place. And, not everybody, like Elias was saying, not everybody resonates with me, and not everybody, but I'll try to show up in the best way that I can, but I'm never going to make somebody feel like, oh, I have to work with Kyra. No, we'll find another place. We'll find another way. What'd she say? When you're making animal noises, you're not looking at numbers. Love is turkey calm. Chris coming to our class. My late husband had one of his poems published. What a wonderful, beautiful treasure he left us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Chris. I am so excited to get to work with you, honey. Always handwritten. I think the way I worded that makes it look like the typing, and I do not. It has the handwritten. Oh my Lord! And that my whole thought might be one word, but I know that one word, what that one word means. Yes.
Right.
I don't know why, but I got that.
I got it.
You got it.
I got it. Yeah.
I want to say hi to Debbie Hogue, Danielle Perlin Good. She is a ghostwriter. Amazing. You want to connect with her. She's been interviewed on here before. And Patricia Haynes, girl. What's up, baby? Susan Ramiro. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Turkey calls. All right, here we go. Can you speak to the healing potential of writing for those working through trauma or self-esteem challenges?
Been there, done it. Talking about the divorce, working through the divorce, very cathartic, as I mentioned earlier. I think it gives us a different perspective. I think we go from, and I hope this is my story, guys. I hope it doesn't offend anybody when I say this, but going from some people that have been through the trauma can see themselves as possibly a victim. And it takes out the victimization piece and it really puts you into that warrior piece. It takes big kahunas to go through what you've gone through. As somebody who has not felt wanted in relationships, someone who has, there's been, I'll just say it, there's been, I was molested as a child. So there are pieces of those pieces that have affected my life. And now I can take a step back and look at it and see myself as the narrator of my own life, which is really healing to be able to talk about it and talk about it like, I'm going to go with a musical, of course. It's like Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I'm telling the story and I'm seeing it through different eyes, with different, glasses. And it's very, for me, it was very, very healing. Very healing when I spoke about my parents, and very healing when I told their stories. And I could feel the love coming through. And even though that painful to remember some of those memories, in in the solo book that I wrote, Changing the F You to Thank You, I talk about a time where I was people pleasing so bad that I wanted the kids in the new school to like me. Let's see if Kyra remembers this. So friends from New York, when they lived in New York, they got this delicious gum that was out, and it was called Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum, and it was brand new. It wasn't in the Midwest, and I they gave me a couple packs because they loved it. Well, everyone's like, "What you chewing?" I'm like, "It's a new gum called Hubba Bubba," and they're like, "Oh, can I have a piece?" Oh my god! And they started talking to me, and then, "Hi, seventh grade, new school," um, and then like, "Can you get me a pack of that gum?" Of course I can.
Oh no.
Can you get me a box of it?
Oh no.
Of course I can.
Oh honey.
So, yeah, yeah, I mean, went straight from president to the people pleaser committee right to the CEO. I was like, "What the heck?" And, um, I was able to look at that story and not have it trigger me like it used to. Not hit myself over the head with a bat and going, "Dumbass, why'd you do that?" I could look at it and go, this is what this meant for you. And this is how that piece molded you and moved you into each relationship, causing you from being people pleaser to fixer to control freak.
And I think that that's why we tell these stories. One is for our own healing, and then we can also look back on it and we get it kind of out of our, whatever's stuck in our energetic crawl, like Abraham says, and just kind of, pull it out and take a look at it and look at it from the different angles and go, can I forgive myself for that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I really, if I was looking at a child going through that whole process, could I forgive him for doing that and her for doing that? And maybe not in the people pleaser situation, but in other things, can I look back on the situations that I've been in, having written about them or communicated about them, and pull them out and seeing, well, what, as a result of that experience, what lesson did I learn? How did I cultivate that into my awareness so that I could heal? And what benefit did it bring to me in the long run? What level of resilience, what problem solving did I need to do to go find a box of Hubba Bubba bubble gum, to make, and what kind of, thing that I have to do to make that. And I did do it, or I didn't do it, or who cares if I did or didn't do it. I at least had that in my mind, like, how can I make that happen? And so it pulls it into a different perspective in a way. And I think that's kind of fun to look at. So for me, on the other side of that, I would take candy. I was in fifth grade, and I would take candy to school, and everybody loved these sour gumball things.
Yes, I
They
remember
were
that.
like ultimate sour, like horrible. They were I could still feel it in the back of my jaw.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. And so I would sell them for a quarter each. I threw fucking gumballs.
Atta girl. Atta girl.
I'm like, no people pleasing here. You got to show me that money, baby. But it's such an interesting, the whole thing is so interesting. And it all starts with writing something down. It really does. Oh, what is Joy saying to us? We all just want to be loved and accepted, and a lot of us never felt that. Right. So what I would suggest with that is a little exercise, Joy, and anybody else listening and watching, which I've got a number of people coming on the As You Write group, Donna, Crystal, Susan, everybody. I just want to say hi, you guys. That another exercise is you can, we've heard the one, write letters to yourself, and in a forgiving, loving way. You can do that to your younger self. You can write as your younger self in that perspective that you had at that time. And then you can, be your own guardian angel, and imagine yourself being in that time frame and what you would have done differently. And right from that place, I was going to go and get them all gum, but then I realized that I meant more than that, and I was more valuable than that. Or, that I'm not the measure of gum itself. I am in and of myself gum.
Healing myself one wrapper at a time.
That's right. I
Um,
am lovable. All right, here we go with setbacks.
yes.
So when you were writing, what kinds of things came up for you that would have said to you, maybe did you hear some things that came up in your mind and you said, no, I'm pushing past that? When you were writing your first book, did you have anything come up in you that said, I can't do this, I shouldn't do this, I'm not going to do this? Anything come up? And if not, any time beyond that?
The first book is like, who am I to be writing? That was the very first thing. Who am I to be writing? Who's going to buy this? Who's going to think that, oh, this is so good, just like I think it's so good? And I had to stop myself and go, all right, Elias, it's a thought of the day book. Let's just like bring out, it's like, it's a thought of the day book. Stop. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that was the big lesson. The big lesson was not just putting it out there, but that was, the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of not being good enough. All these things that have been in my life came like this with the book. And it's a simple book. And I'm like, well, how do you construct a thought of the day book? Like, does it need a chapter? I don't know. I mean, does it need like whatever? And that's when I heard, well, what do you do? Well, I connect. Okay. I educate and I hope people grow from this. And that stuck. Connect, educate, and grow. And I wrote the book in 3 sections, and connect, educate, and grow is on my website. I mean, it's everything that I
Yep.
always say after we're done with the live. It really, there's so many juicy, wonderful golden nuggets that come out of it when we get over the hump of whatever we put here that says we can't. And I go back to these two, and my mom and dad always said, if we took no for an answer, you wouldn't be here. It's what always gets me through. So I was like, well, and guys, honestly, truly, um, and I'll just show you, like look at the formatting. Do you see that? But then when we go to the next page, oh look, it's a little bit higher. And then when you go to the next page, oh, even higher yet. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. And is that really important? I published it, and then I had a friend look over it and everything. And then I'm like, oh, I'm just going to add one more word in there. It looks a little better and sounds a little better. So I added the one word and I hit publish, but then I forgot to take the other word out. So I was like, oh my God. And people bought copies of, and then this is more.
Hey, here's the thing, guys, listening, every single one of you, go to any book on your shelf, any book on your shelf. There will be a formatting mistake. There will be a word mistake in every single best-selling book you can ever even think of it. Every single book, there is a mistake. Every book. So done is better than good.
Right.
Right. And I say, we do our best. We do our best. And then I also talk about the Navajo knot, right? Where the blankets and things are there's a few missteps, a few knots and different things like that, because only God is perfect, right? And that's the understanding of the Navajo. And so if we can't even follow with just saying, I am allowing myself to show up in this life the best that I can. You know, I think that to me, that is one of the best things that we can do is just show up the best way we can. And if somebody doesn't like that, that is on them. That's on them. That's whatever that brought up in them is a good place for their healing. I had an author, Nadia Kraus, Magic of Transformation. Amazing. Somebody said something about, this understanding or belief in the book that she had, that she wrote, that she felt connected with. They had a question or judgment about that. And then there was some kind of maybe a typo or something. And she well, what in your ego caused you to distract yourself from the truth that was being stated in that paragraph or that sentence? Why was your ego trying to distract you from that information? And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so that, like, I will look at something and I'm like, oh, that's not quite right. And I'm like, wait a minute, well, what's actually being said here that I'm trying to avoid? And I'll look back at it and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was totally a message for Kyra that I was choosing not to see because I wanted to be right about something. So don't let anybody write over you when you write yourself. So, oh my gosh. I just want to say, okay, Ashley, have a great day at work. There is no perfect book. Thank you, Lynn. Karen, thank you both. Have fun. I really enjoyed this. We enjoyed having you on here too, Karen. There was some more Karens and some more people and some Gails and some Kims and some so many people. All right. So I think I have one more. So what do you feel is the most surprising thing that has happened through your authorship journey? What's surprised you?
I think what has surprised me is the fluidity of once I get started, once I let go of the fear, once I let go of the expectation, how easy it is once I stop all the monkey mind. Once I stop, it just, I'm telling you guys, with this next book that's coming out in February, the compilation book, Synchronicity, that went like this. I don't know what, but it was like I told a story and I was like getting this, and I'm like, and I didn't sit there and go, how's this going to flow to this piece, to this piece? I just did a simple outline and just started writing. And I went back and I'm like, oh, well, this is done and it's going into this piece, but it doesn't have to like fit so perfectly. It's here's this, but then when you start getting into this part, oh, those are the pieces of the puzzle that really kind of come together. It's fascinating to me.
It is really fascinating. Yeah, I think the most surprising thing, at least for me on my journey, which was kind of interesting because we've published 70 best-selling books through Amazon. And I was very surprised that when I wrote my book, Holograms and Echoes, Transform Triggers to Truth, I was terrified. I had already published like 60 books to that point or more. And I'd already, contributed and done things, and I'd already but I remember when I was writing some of the pieces, like I was in full tears, clenched throat, and all this stuff. And then I went back later and read it. I was like, somebody's just reading this. They wouldn't even like feel any of that. But I was like, oh my gosh, like how the intensity of it was still coming up, even though, and the fear of hitting publish. Like hitting the publish button was still scary to me, even though I know how all of it works. I could take that thing down. I could republish it. I could revise it. I could do whatever to it. There is no final set in stone anything. But still just hitting that button, I was like, oh my gosh, all of the feelings come up. So I totally get it. That was very surprising to me. And so on the kind of the other side of it, where it's like, oh gosh, that still does feel a little bit upsetting. But I did it anyway because you find a wall and you push through it. And the other thing that was really helpful to me was remembering to be compassionate with my authors when they're hitting their publish button or they're hitting the submit button to submit their chapter to me. It was a wake-up call for me too. And so that was something that was surprising for me. Let's close up here. Do you want to talk about the retreat a little bit?
Sure.
I'll put up the screen. Hey. You're so silly. Hit that QR code. Express your soul through writing. We are going to be at Terra Muse Wellness Sanctuary, Mechanicsville, Iowa, which is funny because my grandmother moved to Mechanicsville, Virginia, which is funny. I know. So you're going to unlock your creative potential, let your words flow naturally, and become a published author at the Transformative Weekend event. This is going to be April 25th through 27th. Tell them a little bit, because this will be the first time that I will be there, getting to work with you. Tell them a little bit about the retreat center and what they're going to get and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. It is on 40 acres. It's a beautiful place. You're actually going to see corn sweat. It just makes me laugh every time I say it. It's a beautiful place. The center itself has such a serene vibe to it. There's a little library. There's actually a place downstairs that has a little bit of a sauna if you want to decompress for the day. The food on this retreat, we did it last retreat that I was there, and it worked out really well. We're going to, as a community, because we are creating, so we're going to create the meals. We like to do a 2-week prior meet and greet before the retreat, and then we'll come back and do a 1-month reunion via Zoom. That's kind of some of the statistics, but the retreat center itself is just, it's really pretty. It's very clean. I'm all about the clean, guys. I'm all about the clean. And it is a place where you can go out in nature, take some little walks. There's I'm going to say it the Midwestern version. There's a creek, or some of you are saying a creek. A creek. And it has an energy of sacred land. I mean, there are native indigenous people that have been to the Americas, obviously, that have been on that land. So I'm really excited. Chris says it's a very peaceful place. Chris has been almost to every single, I think you've been to every retreat, Chris, when it's there. Yeah. So, and if you guys have any questions about it, please let me know. I'm willing to answer any questions that you have.
Yes, and I'll put the doolally back up. Please take a picture of this and take a picture of that QR code. Otherwise, go out to eliaspatras.com and you'll see that we've got the early bird special going on right now. So you want to take advantage of this. It's going to food, retreats, and lodging. So I mean, you can't beat that.
And you're going to be in a book. Food.
And you're going to be in a book. You're going to be a published author. Yep,
right.
You're going to be a published author. We're going to walk through that together. We're going to come up with the theme of the title of the book. All kinds of stuff. So, and then you're going to also have a chance to write as well while you're there for the chapter. But you don't have to have it done. We're going to continue working on that after the retreat. So you don't have to feel that pressure. But it is going to be something that's going to be super cool. I'm very excited, thinking about wanting to do this for a long time. So I'll pop that back up there again. Take a picture pages. And then do it behind the scenes. And I want to give you Elias's link for the new book that we have out called The power of vision. It's inspiring possibilities, creating change. And please get in there because you'll get a free gift because you're Elias's friend. And that's going to be super duper fun. All right. Elias, any closing thoughts for our friends?
If it's happened to you and you're like, wow, I can't believe I got through that. Guess what? People want to hear your story. People want to hear your story. People want to hear your aha. And let's say you don't believe that they do. Write it anyway. Just write it anyway and do it for you. And then, bring it to Kyra and go, what do you think?
That's
What do you
right. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Just bring it
So,
to me. Connect at asyoowishpublishing.com. I got your back. We'll figure it out. No worries.
yeah.
And I've done crazy things where somebody says, hey, I have this idea for a book and I would do a collaboration and we're going to get it. And then I just put it together and we all do a collaboration together. So, there's only ever good things that come from talking and connecting. So, Elias, I would love for you to say your thing that you say.
Okay.
Because that makes me feel good. And then we'll head out of here. So we will do that.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Remember, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. From our hearts to yours. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Love you.
Take care.